Today on the Bandrew Says podcast, there was absolutely no interesting news, so I will be checking the comment section from last week's episode and then replying to a few of your comments. So go ahead and stick around. Greetings, Earthlings, and welcome back to episode 194 of the BSP. I'm not calling you a whore, I'm calling myself a whore. My name is Bandrew. This is what I says. Like always, in the show notes, there are timestamps of everything that I talk about, so you can skip around and save a couple of minutes. If you want a different version of the show, audio or video, you can find that at bandrewsays.com. And if you want other educational podcasts, go to geeksrising.com. That is the area, that is the podcast network that this show is a part of. A very, very proud member of the Geeks Rising podcast network. So what did you have to say last week in the comments? That's right, we're already there. The first comment comes from Anthony C., and he says, I am one of the parents that set up my kids with a regular YouTube account. I chose to do this because the control system on YouTube Kids is absolute trash. After my kid came out of the room screaming because some D-bag made a kids video with clips of some terrifying stuff hidden in it, I was done with the kids version. Now with the regular account, I can monitor everything they watch, control the like system, remove channels from recommendations, etc. It has allowed me to keep the account to more of a learning-based account. Anthony, that is amazing insight, and I appreciate you sharing that with me. The thing with this is you signing your child up for a YouTube proper account is you providing consent for YouTube to collect that data on them. Therefore, it is a bit shocking to me that the FTC did not take that into account, that YouTube did not take that into account. But it also brings to light the issue that the regulations and the amount of control or lack of data collection that is allowed on children under the age of 13 really limits the tools that are available for parents to control what their kids can watch. It's possible maybe YouTube could go ahead and update YouTube Kids to collect the data, but only store it locally and do not share it with themselves, do not re-upload it to their server. And that would allow parents to actually have the control over what their kids are watching on the YouTube Kids app. So as things stand right now, with the amount of regulation surrounding this data, and it seems like YouTube's reluctance to collect data and not suck it back up, it seems like that data being there would be too tempting for them, so they will not go ahead and collect it and just let parents locally be able to see what their kid is doing. It seems like a YouTube proper account is the only thing that can be done if you want to be responsible and monitor what your child is doing and limit what they are allowed to view. Anthony, I appreciate you sharing that with me and everybody listening. Really great information and really nice hearing parents' insight into why they went that route as opposed to just letting somebody use the YouTube Kids app. Next comment comes from Up All Night, and he says, kids don't need to lie about their age to sign up for a YouTube account because you don't need an account to watch YouTube. Up All Night, that is a very, very valid point, and I am ashamed to admit I had never even thought about this when discussing the entire COPPA thing and children lying about their age when they create an account on YouTube. Yeah, you're right. They don't even have to create an account. They can just watch while they're not signed in. They will still get ads, meaning YouTube will likely pull their cookies, see what they are interested in, and serve an ad based on what they have looked at in the past. That's why when you go look at something on Amazon and then jump to another website and they have an embedded Amazon advert there, it is for exactly what you were just looking at. It's very creepy, but they accomplish that because that advertisement that's embedded in website X, Y, or Z looks at your cookies and says, wow, Bandrew was just looking at this microphone. Let's go ahead and advertise that exact microphone to control him through mind control and force him to buy it. If we show it to him 10 times, he will finally break and give in and spend $900 on a tube microphone. No, I won't. You don't know me. I will not spend $900 on a tube microphone. How dare you? Okay, yeah, it worked. Jerks. So, thank you very much, Up All Night, for pointing out that glaring oversight or overlooking on my part. Hadn't even considered that. Awesome job, Apriya. And guess what? That is it for what you had to say. Now let's jump to my favorite part of the show, the Ask Bandrew segment. Alrighty. If you have any questions, send them or just go to askbandrew.com. It has directions and instructions for sending in an email, sending in audio, sending in video, anything and everything. One-stop shop. Send in your questions, send in your comments, do whatever the heck you want with it. I was going to say don't do this, but then I know people would do that, so I am not going to give you any ideas. First email comes from Edward Podcast. Hey, Bandrew, I am Edward again. I imagine you've been Edward this entire time, but I think you mean, hey, it's Edward again. I have a question. Would you recommend the mixer Behringer Onyx X1222? If you are requiring that many inputs, you are looking for a mixer that down mixes everything to a stereo track, I don't see why not. Behringer makes some very affordable and, given the price, very valuable mixers and interfaces. The UM2, that's a $30 interface. Is it the greatest interface of all time? No. But for $30, I don't think you can complain. This is a 12-channel mixer, and it's $200, I think. I don't think you can really complain. It may have some downsides. I haven't used that exact model, I don't think, so I am unable to speak on the quality of it, where it might fall short, where it will excel. But if you're looking for a $200 mixer, you need, I think it has 8 XLR inputs. The other inputs are 1/4 inch or line inputs. If you need that many and you're okay with it down mixing to stereo, absolutely. Next email comes from Shay. Hi, I watched some of your videos in YouTube and I would like to get a recommendation. I am searching for a basic microphone for my computer. I need the microphone for voice records, and it really doesn't have to be the best one out there. My budget is about $80. Thanks. Shay, welcome to the club. It's almost become a meme at this point, how often I recommend these 3 microphones. The Samson Q2U, the Audio-Technica ATR2100 USB, or the AT2005 USB. Those are all, I think the AT2005 might be $85, but the 2100 USB and the Q2U, sub $80, XLR and USB microphones. Get them, plug them directly into your computer, they will work. But then down the road, if you want to upgrade to have some outboard gear like the DBX286S, or maybe you want to get an audio interface like a universal audio so you have all that DSP processing, you can just use that same microphone in XLR mode, and you don't have to replace it. Those are my recommendations for you. The Samson Q2U, the ATR2100 USB, or the AT2005 USB. Those are all dynamics. They have a dynamic sound to them. If you want a condenser, shoot me another email and we can discuss that. But those are my recommendations. Next, we have a video submission from Bob Linux. Take it away, Bobby boy. Why did I call you that? That's offensive. I apologize, Bob.
Hey, Bandrew. I know you saw my comment on YouTube because I just saw that you liked it. But I just wanted to make a video and maybe hopefully plug my my vlog channel on YouTube. Anyway, you said that you're kind of spiteful, and when somebody tells you that you can't do something, you want to do it even more. And as I said in the comments, on your video. I bet you can't make an album with your cool guitar riffs. Hint, hint. Sorry, I just couldn't help myself. Anyway, I love your videos. I've been watching your microphone review videos for quite a while now. Actually, I started a podcast last year. Only did a couple episodes. But I bought the Behringer X8500 and the Behringer UMC22 from your recommendations, and I'm really happy with it. So now I mostly use it to do voiceover on product review videos and stuff like that. Anyway, really love your videos. I was supposed to only view a couple of videos of yours to help me decide which microphones to buy. But I just can't stop watching it, and to be honest, a lot of it is because of the singing and the guitar playing. But also I'm interested in all things tech related, and the microphones and USB interfaces and stuff like that is something I really like. So I really love watching your videos. Sorry for me spinning around, I'm just messing around with the DJI Osmo Mobile 3. It's got tracking and stuff, so yeah, just want to try it out and say hi. So thanks for all your cool videos, and keep grinding. And I'm actually kind of surprised. I know you've been getting a lot more views on your videos lately, but when I started watching your videos, there would only be a couple of hundred views the first day, which is kind of surprising to me. But I think more and more people are discovering your channel and appreciate the time you take and how deep you go into testing the microphones and stuff like that. And yeah, so just keep going. Love it. So yeah, sorry for the stupid video. I'm Norwegian and my English is probably kind of crap. I really didn't plan what to say, but anyway, thanks for all the cool videos, and keep going. Bye.
Bob, thank you very much. Quick side note, while I was listening to that just now, I wear my jeans cuffed, and I just found a rock in them. Why am I sharing that? Because this episode is going to be short, and I want to give you some insight into my life. Bob, thank you very, very much for the kind words, and thank you for watching and continuing to support the Podcastage channel as well as this show. It really does mean the world to me. As far as your English being crap because you're Norwegian, no, your English is excellent. I can't stand when people say that, oh, it's my second language, it's probably not very good. The fact that you speak a second language is beyond impressive to me. I can't speak any other language at all. So the fact that you have learned English and you speak it with proficiency is mind-boggling to me. And I just want to point out that I love Norway because of their music scene, the early Norwegian black metal scene. I just pulled up a list of the bands. Here they are: Mayhem, Burzum, Darkthrone, Enslaved, Gorgoroth, Emperor, Immortal, Dimmu Borgir, Satyricon. How many good metal bands can Norway produce? How many? It's insane. And the singer of Gorgoroth has one of my favorite interviews of all time. It is a black metal documentary, and the interviewer asks the singer, "What is your inspiration for writing your music?" And the singer for Gorgoroth is sitting there with a wine glass filled with a dark red wine. He swirls it around, thinks for about 5 seconds in silence. Satan. It's one of the most ridiculous and hilarious and amazing moments in any documentary that I have ever seen. So good on him, good on Norway, and Bob, thank you so much for the kind words. Congratulations on a year on YouTube. I just saw you uploaded your 1-year anniversary video. That is incredible. I will link Bob's channel in the description, in the show notes, if you want to check it out. And thank you again. You are a mad lad, a legend, and I will keep going. I will keep going and I will never stop until I die or until I run out of money. Probably going to be, the latter is probably going to be the reason why I have to stop, because I can't afford to do this forever. Thank you very much, Bob. Next, we have a voice submission from a lovely gent named Jake. Jake, take it away, good sir.
Hello, Bandrew. Long-time listener here. My name is Jake, and I've been listening to the Bandrew Says podcast, watching Podcastage for about 2 years now. And I just want to thank you for all the time and effort and money that you put into making those shows, making that content for me to consume and enjoy. And I also want to thank you for taking the time to take my question today. So, I have a bit of an issue with an audio pairing between a microphone and an interface. Now, about a year ago, I purchased a Lewitt Audio LCT 440 Pure condenser microphone, based almost purely on your review of it. And I must say that I'm really, really satisfied with it. It sounds fantastic, and it's what I'm recording this on right now. And I also purchased the Onyx Artist, Mackie Onyx Artist USB audio interface to go with it. Now, I'm having a bit of an issue with the Artist where, in order to get a decent level out of the 440 Pure, I have to crank the gain almost all the way up on the interface. Like, I'm talking right now when I'm recording this, I have the gain set almost at max. Like, I probably have a couple millimeters of give before I hit absolute max on the preamp. And the 440 Pure is not a difficult microphone to drive. I think it has a sensitivity of something like 32 millivolts per Pascal, which is not an insensitive microphone. It's not the most sensitive microphone, but it's not an insensitive microphone. So, additionally, I don't think that they specify anywhere in the documentation for the Artist that I could find that they give a gain rating for the Artist, and I believe that you mentioned that in your review of it as well. Now, there is a resource online that claims that it has 50 dB of gain, which I also believe that you found in your review of the Artist. And that seems to me like it should be sufficient to not have to push the gain so hard on the interface to get a decent level out of the 440. So I was hoping that you could do me a favor and pull out your 440 Pure and your Artist, if you still have both of them, and see if you can get a decent level out of them, out of that pairing, without having to crank the gain all the way up on the Artist. And that way I know if maybe my Onyx Artist is actually a defective unit and it's not providing as much gain as I need, or maybe if it just simply isn't powerful enough for the microphone and I should look into buying a new interface. Anyways, look forward to seeing if you get the time to answer my question, and thank you so much, and I will continue to watch.
All right, Jake, you got it. Lewitt LCT 440 Pure connected to the Mackie Onyx Artist 1-2. My gain is set at around 3 o'clock, as you can see on the interface. Lots of wires going on. And I am hitting around -6 decibels, and even going a little bit higher than that. So at around 3 o'clock on the dial with gain, I am getting a pretty healthy level, probably a bit too hot of a level, actually. Now, if I was a lot farther back, maybe you're a foot and a half off the microphone, yes, I would have to increase the gain to nearly 100%, and now I am at that level. I am much farther off of the microphone now, and my gain has increased, where I just have about a millimeter or two of give on the gain dial. So it does appear that the Mackie Onyx Artist 1-2 does have sufficient gain for the LCT 440 Pure. If you're a few inches off of the microphone, you can keep it around 3 o'clock, maybe a little bit lower if you want to have a decent amount of headroom. Like I said, recording so you're hitting around -6 decibels and a little bit hotter is living a little bit more dangerously than I typically would like. But depending on where you are in terms of distance from the microphone, as you saw when I got about a foot and a half off of the microphone, I did have to crank the gain to nearly 100%. But I hope that answered your question, put your mind at ease, and let you know if it is your interface, if it's your microphone, or if it's the placement of the microphone in conjunction to your mouth. Thank you very much for the question, Jake. Priya, back to the future recording Bandrew, which is recorded in your past, but you are watching presently. Weird. There you have it. That is it for this episode of the podcast. I wish people had more interesting news this week. It seems like everybody has already left for vacation. They're taking time off as though that is an option. You're not allowed to take time off. Continue to produce stuff that I can talk about. Because if you don't produce stuff that I can talk about, I don't have anything to talk about. I want to apologize for last week's episode. There was some excessive clipping. I had assumed that the clipping I was hearing in my headphones was because in my console software, I boost the microphone monitoring by 12 dB, and sometimes that leads to it sounding as though it is clipping when it really is not. But last week, I was driving the preamp far too hard and clipping at that point. I was limiting it, and that means that the D to A or the A to D converter in my interface was not clipping, so I didn't see the levels getting even close to 0 dB. So I was a bit confused. I went ahead and solved all of that, fixed it up. There should not be any clipping this week, and I am very happy with how it sounds. It sounds a lot smoother than it did last week. And that is it for this week. We have a new outro clip from the wonderful Sean Milo. He has a YouTube channel. I will link that in the show notes if you want to check it out. He does some reviews of microphones, and he does some audiobooks. What a wonderful voice. And the outro clip, this has been a Geeks Rising production. Your executive producer of Bandrew Scott. He got kind of bothered by the incorrect grammar, so he re-recorded it. And Sean, thank you very much, kind sir. You are a mad lad, a legend. I appreciate so much. And he has a YouTube channel where he reviews and tests microphones. He recently did the Cinco D2, I think it is, and he found some interesting stuff with it. All right, I will talk to you next week. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Bye.
This has been a Geeks Rising production. Your executive producer is Bandrew Scott. For more information, head over to www.geeksrising.com.